Well, good evening. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our September 23rd, 2014 Ogden City Council meeting. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present with the exceptions of Vice Chair Gochner and Council Member Garner, who was both asked to be excused from this meeting. If we could now have the Pledge of Allegiance, if you could just stand and then repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if you would now join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. All right. The first item we have is a recognition for the Weber State debate team, and we've asked Councilmember Blair if he would take care of this item for us today.
Thank you. This is Joint Resolution number 2014-12, recognizing the Weber State University debate team for its exceptional performance and for securing the 2014 Cross-Examination Sweepstakes National Tournament title. Whereas Weber State University Debate is the oldest and most competitive team at Weber State University. The program was established in 1922 and has a long history of success. The team regularly ranks in the top 25 programs in the nation, often against the finest public and private universities. And whereas Dr. Omar G. Guevara II and the other amazing debate staff do a remarkable job guiding student debaters. For 3 consecutive years, Weber State University Debate has taken the first place sweepstakes in the Cross-Examination Debate Association National Tournament West Region and ranked first in the Western Conference. And whereas collegiate debate fosters critical thinking and public speaking skills that are essential in all aspects of life. Student competitors learn advanced research, argumentative and rhetorical skills, preparing them for graduate and professional school and their future careers. The program keeps students engaged in the formal learning process, often accelerating the rate of graduation and improving academic performance. And whereas Weber State University Debate is the largest debate squad in the Western United States, with nearly 50 students traveling to compete each year. Student competitors come from a wide range of backgrounds and experience levels. The team usually travels 20 or more students to a dozen regional and national tournaments. And whereas Weber State University Debate regularly hosts tournaments for the high school and college debate communities, typically drawing more than 1,000 guests to campus and the Ogden community each year. In 2013, the team hosted the 67th annual National Debate Tournament in Ogden on the 90th birthday of the Weber Debate team and 25 years after the team last hosted the national event. And whereas Weber State University competitive debaters are full-time students in good academic standing who follow a team honor code. Students and coaches attend weekly meetings and practice sessions, complete research projects, travel to tournaments, mentor high school debaters during summer camps, and host tournaments and professional conferences. Weber State Debate consistently exemplifies dedication to their event, their team, and their community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Ogden City Council and Mayor Michael P. Caldwell proudly recognize Weber State University Debate for its exceptional performance throughout the team's long history, for securing the 2014 Cross-Examination Sweepstakes title, and for preparing students for success in many aspects of life. We appreciate the efforts of the exceptional debate coaches and their outstanding dedication in preparing students for success. We are confident that the debate team will continue its legacy of success for many years to come. Go Wildcats. With that, I will make a motion that we approve this joint resolution.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember Stevens to approve, to adopt this recognition. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, we do have some people here we'd like to recognize. We've got Dean Madone Minor and Associate Dean Catherine Zublin, along with the Director of Debate, Omar Guevara. So if we could recognize you and have you come up. Okay, then I'll hand it to you.
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks so much for being here. Yes, congratulations.
Thank you, Doc.
Why don't we just kind of crowd over here and stand behind you and get some pictures, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
Let's put this behind us, shall we? There we go.
And you'll need the team up in a minute.
Yeah, we will need the team. Okay, let's have the team now.
You want to just kind of.
Come on up.
I know, you have.
We gotta have a picture with the team.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You guys.
Without the team winning, we wouldn't be doing this.
They deserve a lot of the credit.
Stand on the podium, we would like to hear from you.
He's a debater, not an impromptu speaker.
I can't believe you'd be at a loss for words.
Yes, I think it's relatively rare for me to be at a loss of words. I say that in the good company of the people I work with and grow with every day, and they're probably shell-shocked to see me without words. I just want to say on behalf of the team, we deeply appreciate this moment and this recognition. This is means a great deal to the team, and they work very, very hard to make this possible. They hosted a number of national championships in a very short amount of time, in 18 months, and every time I went to them and asked them for their help, they said they would be there, and they set the bar incredibly high, even on some days enough to make their old coach feel the ache of keeping up with them. But they're the ones that really made this possible, and along with my colleagues and everyone that supports the endeavor at Weber State University to allow debate to shine. So thank you very much. We deeply appreciate this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
And just to announce also that the team will be back in December to debate an issue in front of the council. So we're excited that that'll happen.
And we're looking forward to that. That will be really special. We appreciate that. Thank you.
I think it's interesting that they were established in 1922.
They're not that
I
old.
imagine, yeah. I imagine a lot of the citizens of Ogden and even the student body are not aware of that establishment there.
All right, well, thank you again. Appreciate what you do for our community. All right, the next item is a request to be on the agenda, and we have Sandy Croslin representing RAMP. So,
You move these, okay, this is forward, this is back. Okay. So this is forward. And let me move the microphone here.
Okay, perfect.
So it's like here.
All right, yeah, that'll be good. All right. Council members, thank you very much for accepting our request to be on the agenda. And I'm just going to give you a quick presentation from Ramp Works. The first thing you need to understand is that the committee called Ramp Works is different from the Ramp Board itself, because we accept no money from the tax increment, and the members of our board are entirely focused on renewing RAMP in the next election, and then making sure that RAMP stays in the forefront of the consciousness of the community. The reason for that is because what we've realized over time is, although it's 10 years down the road and now it's time to vote for it again, the community is basically unaware that RAMP has done so many things. They understand that the amenities are there. They might understand that it happened because of Ogden City, but they're not aware of the role that RAMP plays, which is actually their role in bringing about this wonderful source of income for the nonprofits and municipalities in Weber County. The other reason we are trying to be active and on the front of people's consciousness is because 10 years ago, RAMP passed by the very narrowest of less than a percentage point, the very narrowest of margins. And we want to make sure that we don't run that risk, that we lose something that has actually put almost $30 million back into the community. So I can see this. Okay. Oh, that's forward?
Yes.
All right, there you go. Renew RAMP on November 4th. I'll quickly pass that. Our focus has been on quality of life, and to understand what quality of life is, I think my way of looking at it is it's the immediate and personal effect on people, children, families. Your penny at work. It's funded by a 0.1% sales tax. And being a sales tax, that means that all of our visitors, all of our tourists, as well as the residents in the county, all put into this fund. And if you think about it, that is less than the cost of 2 movie tickets. And that's for a year. The $12 generated from each family totals about $2.5 million per year for community projects. And we've funded trails, hiking bridges, the Weber County ice sheet expansion, park amenities, water features, and playgrounds. Music festivals, community amphitheaters. And when we say facilities, we're looking at things that the nonprofits and the cities could not possibly afford without help from RAMP. RAMP has funded over $26 million worth of grants for 91 nonprofit organizations and municipalities. This free summer Saturday program has actually impacted thousands of children and families. Your investment has more than doubled through matching funds, land donations, and in-kind resources and volunteer services. It's affordable access to festivals, concerts, etc. Many of them are free, many of them are at a reduced price. And convenient, safe access to many, many outdoor amenities. Has helped build trails, tunnels, bridges, boardwalks, connecting 450 miles of trails in Weber County. And our trail system in Weber County is used more than 1.2 million times a year. It has a direct economic impact on our community. And when you think about that, you think of Ogden City and Weber County and the awards that we've won in the last decade and how many of them start with outdoor recreation, trails, experiences for families and for future employees and businesses in the community. It bridges the gap. There's certainly no way that we would have gotten the Weber County Sports Complex without the investment of $2 million from RAMP, which generated another $7.2 million. It enriches our children's lives and the lives of all the people who live in Weber County. It builds facilities, and RAMP works. We have a national reputation based on things that RAMP has helped to fund. It raises us all. What better use could there be for your penny? Just to let you know what Ogden City has received. Ogden City is our largest recipient. You have received more than $2.9 million. In the municipal allotment, you've gotten $648,000. Those projects that have been funded for Ogden City include things as varied as Black History Lunch, family concerts, and Christmas Village. But the focus for Ogden City, and as I said, this has been part of what has made it such a special city, is outdoor recreation. Your river corridors and trails have gotten $1.5 million, which have funded Adventure Park, Dog Park, Ogden Canyon entry, the restoration projects, the Trail Cat signage, and the Centennial Trail. Lauren Farr Pool has received more than $150,000, and Glassman Park more than $100,000. We have helped fund facilities and equipment for baseball, biking, tennis, golf, kayaking, paddleboarding, river adventures, fishing, volleyball, swimming, and parks. So as you see, really, Ogden City has benefited enormously. And what I want you to be aware of when you do turn in your applications is RAMP. This is the regular RAMP board that will receive your application, needs shovel-ready projects. And that means you've got to provide collaboration in the form of land, volunteers, or money. You need to have a clear and concise budget for the things you request, and you need to propose a very distinct timeline for completion. As a city, as a municipality, we cannot get a donation from you, nor can we get a proclamation of support. But we can ask you to use your own rights of free speech to support RAMP in any way you can. We are also going to be putting up large signs, 4 by 8 foot signs, and I believe that it is fair to ask cities, the other municipalities have all offered to help us find locations where those signs would be seen by the people in your community. One last thing, I was part of the effort to make Ogden City a healthy living community. And as you see, there's a real strong correlation between what we do, what we fund, what you request from RAMP, and your healthy living community. So I'm really proud of you for what you're doing, and I appreciate your efforts and all your individual efforts to, on an individual basis, get out the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Any comments about that?
We do have some signs if anybody wants to.
Thank you.
I'll just say, I mean, it's hard to go anywhere unless you are a hermit all day and don't leave your house. It's hard not to pass something that has happened because of RAMP. I mean, really, you look at a lot of things in our community, and, I serve on some nonprofit boards where they have things that are able to happen because of RAMP. And sometimes that RAMP funding is matched by money that wouldn't have come in otherwise if not for that RAMP money. So I think it kind of has a multiplier effect, and we get a lot of bang for our buck for that money that goes into the RAMP tax.
Absolutely. The communities, the pressure on communities is to do things that are, to water and streets and things of that nature, and the other quality of life things tend to get overlooked without some nudge, and this RAMP tends to really help to make that nudge, and to, in many cases, just pulls all the weight. But Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chair, thank you. As you know, my boss is very passionate about RAMP and has been for a long time in his career. He is at a reception tonight for the tourism conference with the governor at Snow Basin. Tough duty he has, but asked me if I would read the following in his behalf, so I will read it. I would like to personally thank Sandy and Dave for presenting and mention it is volunteers like this that have made RAMP such a critical and important part of our community. Those community members that have been willing to serve have been committed to absolute transparency and fairness, have created a confidence in this program that simply does not exist in any other public programs. Ramp will have added close to $50 million worth of community quality of life projects that simply would not exist in this period of tight budgets and revenue. One of the greatest honors of my professional career has been working with the Ramp Board and watching how this program has created change throughout every city in Weber County and touched in some form or another almost every one of Weber County's 220,000 residents. Other than education, I believe this is one of the best and most important investments we have ever made in ourselves, and there is very little I support more than this great program. Ramp works for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for being here and for your volunteer spirit. Thank you. And for all the good things you do for us. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is approval of minutes. The first minutes are the minutes of the study session of August 19th and of the regular meeting of August 19th, 2014. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Chair, they're correct.
And for the work session of August 19th, 2014, Councilmember White.
Yes, I read those and found them to be correct.
And for the minutes of the joint work session of August 20th, 2014, Councilmember Blair.
Yes, I have read those and found them to be accurate. We missed.
Did I miss one?
Yes.
Okay.
I reviewed the ones from the regular meeting of August 19th.
Okay. I thought we got Councilmember Stevens doing that one.
No, I did the number A.
No, Garner's.
Councilmember Garner.
Oh, okay. I thought I'd slipped his in there also. Okay.
Okay.
So have we got them all?
Yeah, I
Did
think
we
so.
get them covered? All right.
Then with that, I will go ahead and make a motion that we adopt the minutes.
Second.
Okay. We've got a motion by Councilmember Blair, seconded by Councilmember White to approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, those are approved. Now we have a public hearing for the Doxey Street vacation. And this will be Mr. Montgomery.
That's correct. The one and only.
Trying to think here. Okay.
Here it comes.
There we go. Mr. Chair, members of the council, you're considering tonight a recommendation the Planning Commission has forwarded on to you regarding a petition to vacate a 40-foot length of Doxey Avenue west of Wall. In the illustration that you see, that orange area is the area requested to be vacated. The land that is to the west was actually vacated last year. And so you see this portion of Doxey is a very small stub. The petitioner actually owns both properties on the north and the south side of the requested vacation, as well as they own the properties on the north and south side of the area that had been vacated last year. As we reviewed this, the Planning Commission determined that this street was not needed for a public purpose. It does not provide through access. It is very localized, and that is not needed for the future development of the city. And so the recommendation to you is that it would be appropriate to vacate this 40-foot length of Doxey Avenue.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Montgomery?
In our study session, we asked about the utilities in that area. Is that a problem?
No, it's not. As they develop the property, of course, there's a home here and there's some homes here. So there are some utility stubs here, but those will then be revised to service the buildings that will be built at this location. So there's no through utilities that have to have an easement to them.
Okay.
I do have a quick question. So if they start to buy the rest of the homes, do you think that they'll come back and ask for more vacation of the I just.
Yeah. Really, if they acquire all those properties there is no need for that street to be there. And of course, UDOT would be happy with that being eliminated also as a street.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Montgomery? Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. If you have any concerns or ideas about this particular proposal, if you could come forward and give us your name and address.
Hello, I'm Paul Peruka. I'm that little house in the yellow there, that was there. That one there. My question is, we're giving all the way the free land right there. Do I get the street in front of my house, or is that just for them?
Well, we'll have staff address that when we...
That would be nice.
Okay. That's your question then, huh?
That's about it.
Okay, anything else?
No, that'd be great. Thanks.
Any other comments about this? Are you the petitioner?
I am, actually.
Okay, we were guessing. You probably were.
We have, my name's David Bornemeyer, representing Western Ice House, the petitioner. We're excited about the redevelopment of the potential for this particular area. With regards to the neighbors that are currently there, Paul would be happy to speak with you directly with regards to any of our current plans. In fact, I've been wanting to be in touch with you. We just haven't been able to find you. So, absolutely, no, I totally agree with you. These are not finalized plans. These, however, they kind of illustrate our overall scheme in expanding our facility in the vacant area. This being the Doxy Street, existing Doxy Street. The vacation would be this area, this small area. The further west end was previously vacated. The current state of the area is undeveloped, and like I said, we're eager to be and continue to be a good corporate citizen in Ogden, as well as continued corporate neighbor here. So we're excited about its potential, and like I said, are eager to continue our long-standing presence in the area.
What type of business is it?
Cold storage facility. We actually support manufacturing processes,
Okay.
including ATK and other logistics needs.
Okay.
So,
All right, thank you. All right, are there any more comments? We could have Mr. Montgomery come up and answer that question.
So the gentleman referred to his property located here, which is just east of the proposed street vacation. So that is not being included in the request or consideration tonight. That's not how the noticing took place. Citizens always have the right to petition to have street vacations looked at, and the Planning Commission and City Council look at them to determine the need of those properties for access. I think one of the key things of the difference between here is where the property owner owns both pieces, both sides. They, in effect, don't need to provide access down the street. If this property were to petition by itself, the question would be, does that give adequate access to the areas to the west? Because it would be true that he would receive half if it's approved, then half would go to this property owner.
And if that isolates then this development, then there'd be a concern. So the petition can always take place, but each one has to stand alone on its merits. In this case, the merits are that no individual property is being impacted other than the petition property for access. No other one's access is being affected because everyone else will still have full use of the Doxy Street.
All right, thank you. Hopefully that answered your question, Paul, and if you have any further questions, please see Mr. Montgomery and he'll be able to help you. Okay? All right. We need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Blair to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Or any opposed? Okay, do we have a motion on the ordinance 2014-36?
I will make a motion that we adopt proposed ordinance 2014-36.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Blair to adopt ordinance 2014-36. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Garner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks? Aye. Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes unanimously. Well, good luck with that. Next item is reports from Planning Commission about the 12th Street C2CO Development Agreement amendments. Mr. Montgomery.
Mr. Chair, members of the council, the Planning Commission considered a petition to amend the present development agreement that exists the property located between Lincoln and Grant Avenue on the south side of 12th Street. Back in 2007, the city entered into a development agreement as part of the rezoning process of this property from residential R2 to commercial C2 zoning with the overlay to the rezoning. That attachment set certain standards and parameters of future development on that piece of property. It put in place restrictions on some uses that may be allowed in the C2 zone, but in this situation it was felt not appropriate for this location. Those restrictions deal with auto lube centers, service stations, convenience stores, car washes, tire stores, outdoor storage, temporary buildings, boarding houses, liquor stores, a list of things that would not be appropriate along that portion of the 12th Street corridor. It also set up that at that time, the agreement, certain design standards of building materials, of heights of buildings, of roof types, of access and of circulation, of lighting, of screening, and those standards were adopted back then in 2007. The request that you're considering tonight is to amend that existing development agreement by changing 3 different areas. The first area deals with the time frame established in the development agreement. The development agreement had stated that there were 4 years to complete the project at the time of the agreement. That was in 2007. 2008 hit and the economy changed directions, and they were not able to meet that 4-year time frame. The proposal now is that since the first development took place, which was the Arby's on the corner of Grant and 12th Street, that from the commencement of that first phase, they have 9 years to complete the project, which would put it back to 2019 to complete all buildings on that area. The second change dealt with site plan revision. The existing development agreement shows, of course, the Arby's that was built, then proposed a sit-down restaurant, a drive-through restaurant, and then a retail pad. And the key part of this is the interlinking of all the parking, to share access and circulation between Lincoln, Grant, and 12th Street. And so that site plan, as it has been evolving, has come to a point where 2 developments are being proposed on the corner of Lincoln and 12th, and then just to the east of that. These are both fast food restaurants, so we're really amending how this corner looks.
What is that patch of gray that's on that?
I'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
So you can see the change that's happening here. With that change and the way the drive-ups work also, you'll notice that the commercial space in the center changes scale. It becomes a little bit smaller, but in some ways a little bit more manageable too in terms of trying to market. One of the key things, because this part is not being proposed to be developed at this point, was to make sure that we had access for the entire project now, that this gray area, even though it may not be part of what's being built, actually be constructed here to make sure circulation takes place for all these facilities to interconnect. So that's what that is showing, is that interconnection that would need to happen as part of this development, so that even though this is not the lot being developed, that frontage area with the landscaping and the driveway be developed now, so that everything can tie together in circulation. So that's what that gray is
Okay,
depicting.
thank you.
The other change that is being proposed deals within the building elevations. As I mentioned in the agreement, there was discussion about building materials, and so the proposed buildings are meeting that in the amended agreement. This is the Popeyes, which would be on the corner of Lincoln and 12th Street. Freddy's, which would then be to the east of that. The agreement talks about using stone and stucco, and that they have that consistency of element in all the buildings. They also then have amended what the commercial building would look like, again using the stone and stucco to keep that same theme throughout all 4 buildings that would be on the site. So the second part of the development agreement is editing the attachments so that they now reflect these revisions to meet now what is being proposed. The third change is in the legal description of the overall development agreement. UDOT had acquired the corner, so if you look at this drawing, you see a little notch now. That changes the legal description, and so that is an amendment that's being made to the development agreement. These 3 items, the time extension, the site plan, and the building elevations, are part of what is the proposed amendment that's before you tonight. Planning Commission recommended approval as they felt this was consistent with the intent of why the property was rezoned. It meets the general criteria that were established back in the 2007 agreement, and these amendments take into consideration what had happened to the economy during that time between 2008 and the present, as now there are 2 projects being proposed on this site, these 2 properties here. And so their recommendation to you is to approve the proposed amendments.
Any questions for Mr. Montgomery?
Did you say the extension was until 2019?
Right. It would be a total of 9 years from when Arby started.
And can you review if the development has not been completed by that day, what would happen?
Well, it's kind of like what we're talking about tonight, because the 4 years actually expired in the development agreement. But the feeling is that this is still the better product than if we looked and tried to rezone this back to R2, which is what the provision says, that if they don't meet it, the city has the option to rezone it back to the original zoning of R2. We don't see housing in that section, so we really feel that this agreement with amendments is the proper way to go. So that's how we'd approach it. If then we'd still look to try to establish those same standards, because we feel some of the restrictions are important, that they be restricted land uses along that section of 12th Street.
So this sets the footprint for that area there.
It does.
So we could also maybe have an extension after 2019.
Well, we're hoping that we'll have all this done by
Yes.
before 2019, so we don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Any other questions for Mr. Montgomery? All right, thank you. We have Mr. Glissmeyer, who is the petitioner. Is there anything you'd like to present?
Greg Glissmeyer with Woodbury Corporation, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. I think it was covered very well in the work session that I attended at 5:30. The only thing I would add is that the economy has not been our friend in the development of this particular project. We went into it with the Arby's in hand. In fact, one of our partners in the ownership of this property is Kent Foote, the Arby's franchisee. And the good news is that that restaurant has been very successful at this location and continues to thrive. And we're excited to introduce Popeyes and Freddy's fast foods to this location. We're optimistic that we'll be able to find tenants now that the economy has improved for the balance of the project.
All right, thank
That's
you.
all I wanted to add, unless you've got any further questions.
Questions
of me.
for our petitioner?
Yeah, and I continue to talk about this, but anything that we can do to encourage them to put bike racks up. We have, the BDOs not far from there, and perhaps, there are people that would bike over to Freddy's and Popeyes. And then also we're, no idling signs, and hopefully it's fast enough that there's no idling through there, but it just encouraged the use of that.
Thank you. And as the developer, we're in favor of those suggestions and would encourage you as the council to perhaps pass that on to our buyers as well, if that's a concern.
Do you have much to do with the Arby's? Do you meet with them regularly, the owner of Arby's? Do you talk to him?
Yeah, I speak with that franchisee on a weekly basis, and that Arby's is doing exceptionally well on a national level. I'm not at liberty to disclose specific gross sale numbers, but it's significantly higher than an average Arby's is in the nation.
Moving across the street was a good thing for them, or?
Absolutely. Yeah, sales improved dramatically.
What I was thinking is that maybe you could make that suggestion that we're looking very hard to improve our air, that may be an improvement that they would like to do, is set up bike racks and maybe no idling, and just make that as a suggestion that it would be something that would be looked favorably from the council in that aspect there.
Thank you. I will make that suggestion to Arby's.
May increase their business more so.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Might make it so we can breathe a little better in January. All right.
Really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to receive input on this. If you have anything you'd like to say about this petition, you're welcome to come forward at this time. Okay, seeing none. Do we have any comments or a resolution to this?
So, Chair, I'll make that we adopt proposed ordinance 2014-37.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Garner, seconded by Councilmember Wicks, to adopt ordinance 2014-37. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gardner?
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks?
Aye.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Chair Heyer?
Aye. That passes, and that's also unanimous. The next item on our agenda is public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please state your name and address clearly for the record, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Seeing no movement. Mr. Johnson?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Council members?
Big.
It is a big sigh, isn't it? It seems like we've been running
event
fast all
after
summer.
event, which have been.
And Harvest Moon was fantastic. The events and everything that went along with it. And thanks to the city for helping us with that.
That's great. Okay, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Wicks, seconded by Councilmember Blair to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Council work session will be held immediately following this meeting, and the purposes of the work session are on the agenda.